Hi, I'm back. I hope you're having a great start to the new year because I'm not. I did start my role in Singapore, which I posted here on LinkedIn at the end of last year. Um, but unfortunately, I've had to leave because of some minor health issues. Nothing too serious, but it did impact my ability to add value. So, by mutual consent, we parted ways. So, what that means is I can start vlogging again. Yay! If you follow my LinkedIn posts, I did say that the subject of my next vlog would be about my practical framework approach to change. Oh, by the way, do you like the loud shirt? I thought I'd have a change again. Anyway, sorry, back to the subject. Since starting in the business of change, I've developed and implemented many bespoke business change approaches and strategies for organizations to enable them to drive through change initiatives and achieve considerable return on investment and business benefit. Based on these, over the years since 1996, I've developed these approaches and have actually created my own approach, which is specifically designed for technology implementations of any kind, not just necessarily ERP, SAP, and so forth. This vlog is designed to give you just a flavour of it, and it's probably going to be a little bit long, so please bear with me. So, first of all, it's a modular approach, as you can see by the red lines. This means that the framework can be used in its totality, or you can pick and choose whichever modules you want, dependent on the change initiative and what's already placed within the organisation. Just a quick mention of that. Organisational context is absolutely important when trying to implement any kind of methodology, because you need to understand what's going on in the organisation, because what you might want to do might not fit with what they want. Okay. Secondly, it includes outputs for each of the working framework modules, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later. Implicit in the framework are things like creating an environment for change, managing change resistance, engendering change behaviours, and addressing organisational culture. So, let's start with the foundations. It's a bit like building a house, really. Think about it. First of all, sponsorship and leadership. You will need to identify and work with a senior level sponsor leader to ensure commitment to the change initiative and to regularly engage with them in relation to their responsibilities, such as their visibility, building support, communication, responsibilities, managing resistance, setting priorities, and of course, celebrating success. Then we come to stakeholders, those all important people. You will need to identify key stakeholders and engage with them to understand their level and type of interest, level of influence, reasons for supporting or resisting the change, and determining communication activities to win their support and help ensure that the project succeeds. And next, the all-important communication and engagement. You'll need to implement a comprehensive communications plan that includes creating awareness, importantly, the stakeholders to be communicated to, who I spoke about previously, types of messages to be communicated, channels to be communicated through, and of course the frequency of that communication. If you get these foundations right, well and truly bedded in, things will be far easier. If you don't, basically, the house won't fall down. Okay, next up are what I call, the working framework modules. I mentioned these before. And first up is, of course, process change. You'll need to understand and analyse the processes impacted by the change, map the as-is, and critically examine each process. Devise new to-be processes, undertake an impact assessment between the as-is and the to-be, and the changes, and gain agreement to the new processes prior to the implementation. Next up, organisational change. This actually naturally follows on from process change, so you'll need to evaluate things like reporting structures, working practices and management systems, review current roles and responsibilities and organisation structures, undertake organisational redesign, and create and implement the new roles and responsibilities and the new organisational structure that goes with it. Next up, training. You need to review current goals, and objectives for your training, the jobs and tasks that people are involved in relation to what they're going to be trained on, competencies and skills, identify specific training needs, and design and implement a comprehensive training strategy to ensure that all those impacted by the change receive necessary training in the new ways of working in a timely manner. Next up, business readiness. This is probably a very often forgotten element of change. But effectively, to keep tabs on how ready the business are in relation to the implementation, you will need to design and implement a business readiness and adoption measurement mechanism to determine how those impacted by the change will have made all the preparations necessary to accept the deliverables of the project and, importantly, to begin operating with them. Next up, benefits management. A benefits plan and profile will need to be authored, which defines each benefit and disbenefit, and then to track realization of those throughout and after the change initiative to ensure that the original benefits, as detailed in the business case, have been or are being realized. Finally, continuous improvement, probably another forgotten element like business readiness and adoption. You'll need to design and implement a continuous improvement program. Probably the best known one is Plan, Do, Check and Act, to regularly review changes to ways of working brought about the change and implement efficiency improvements on a regular cyclical basis. Okay, I talked about outputs earlier on outcomes, and there are some across the bottom here, but just let me go through them individually. In terms of process changes, changes from the as-is to the to-be and business readiness impact assessment, organisational change, new job roles, responsibilities and organisational design, training management, competency, proficiency and knowledge, business readiness and adoption, business readiness, adoption and go-live assessment, benefits management, benefits plan and KPIs aligned to the business case, and continuous improvement, the successful implementation and continuous cycle. Okay, just take a look at these statistics and feedback for a minute about my framework approach to change. Now there have been over 8,500 downloads of the free primer, averaging 55 a week, and the full version is a bestseller on Flevy.com. Regarding the article, there's been 2,750 views, 120 likes and complimentary comments such as very informative, interesting framework, fantastic, apt, useful and relevant, a great overview of the change processes, great article about ongoing change, great article demystifying the subject, great tool. And in terms of use, 72.5% found the approach very interesting and thought-provoking, and a whopping 87.5% say they would use the approach. Ooh, that looks good. So, there we have it. Let me know what you think about this approach. Do you think it makes sense? Is there anything missing? Would you use it? It would be good to hear from you. And just before I go, a couple of things. Just take a look at these. Just a quick view of some of the many organisations that have downloaded the free primer or purchased the full version from Flevy.com. Quite a few esteemed, very well-known global companies on that list. Okay, thanks for listening again to me rabbiting on about my favourite subjects. Once again, I'll add links to the associated LinkedIn Pulse article, to the free Flevy download, and also to the full version of the approach, which I have for sale on Flevy.com. Right, thank you very much, and goodbye. See you again soon.